The invasion of predator teachers.
Back when I was a child in high school, the most controversial thing that took place at my institute was a teacher being caught with, let's just say, graphic imagery of young individuals on.
I feel like, yeah, that's also my school. Except the person that got caught was the vice principal. The vice principal got caught, of all people. It was the vice principal, and then I think there was another. It was like, y'all know those student teachers? There was a student teacher, I think he was going to a university, so he was still in college, and he sent explicit photos to a minor. I feel like a weirdo in school is now a canon event.
Hard drives, tons of it. Now, I did not have this instructor. A friend of mine actually did though, and they always told me like how shocking it was to find out this happened because that teacher was such a nice, cuddly, warm, amazing, good dude. Fast forward a little bit because I went to 2 different high schools actually, and in my other high school, a similar case happened, but except this time, the teacher had a real physical encounter with the student. And soon after that,
Wait, dude, it's so crazy. This is happening to every school now. It's not only on the news, because now that I'm really thinking about it, why is this shit so common?
we're thinking, am I cursed? Do I have like cursed energy? Do I have the freaking 9-tailed fox inside of me? I don't know. Freaking kryptonite? I don't even know if that's how it works. I still gotta watch the Superman. Heard it was a good movie. But anyways, one of my middle school teachers actually had an entire wall with just a bunch of pictures of girls from the previous graduating class. Very, very.
Imagine getting caught with cheese pizza, but when they catch you, you have it on your board. Like you're doing some sort of like investigation. You're putting red lines into one photo and in another photo, you got the student's profile and then they're nude. You need help. No, that's disgusting. You got caught in the worst way.
Very fishy. Come to find out, I'm not actually cursed, and this is a very, very common experience. As a matter of fact, this happens so often that I ended up seeing an edit like a couple minutes ago about male teachers when it comes to being gay, a PDF, or being the greatest teacher you'll ever have. Because I guess being a PDF is that common.
Yo, shout out to those amazing teachers that allowed you to roam free in the class. You're amazing. And shout out to the teachers that actually took time of their day to give us, what do y'all call it? Restorative circles. As I'm growing older, I realized that was needed, bro. What's a high you have for the week? What's a low? I love those. Shout out to y'all.
And I'll let y'all see the edit because, you know, it's LeBron James. Hey! There are plenty of posts like this, which I might play some examples for you.
Yes, I'm a teacher. Yes, I can either be male PDF or female big. Yo, yes, I hate my life. Yes, my students make fun of me. Yes, I will give you 0 for your late assignments that was turned in a minute after class ended. Yes, I will give you the worst seat possible. Y'all ever had a teacher mark you late for being like literally like a couple of seconds late to class? Like you didn't even call a roll call yet, and then you gonna get mad at me for being a couple of seconds late. And then those be the same teachers that be like, oh, you want to use the bathroom right now? Why didn't you take it during passing period? Well, bitch, you ever thought that passing period is literally 30 seconds? And if I genuinely wanted to go to the bathroom, take my pants off, get a good leak in, wash my hands and come in, then I'd be marked tardy? You ever thought that?
I wanna meet you up. I wanna take her out.
Now, after seeing posts like the previous ones, I ended up thinking, how common is this actually? It is estimated that about 10% of students will experience educator misconduct by the time they graduate high school. The term misconduct is relatively broad and it encompasses a variety of behaviors, including verbal, comments, jokes, exposure of parts, sharing wild images, crazy physical behaviors like touching, fondling, and all the, you know, extremely disgusting stuff. Which that means 1 in every 10 students will have reported some type of inappropriate.
And that's crazy. Bro, it's 1 in every 10%. This is crazily common.
Some type of inappropriate incident. I don't know how big your classes were. In my schools, they were about 30 people per classroom, which means about every classroom, about 3 students will have had relations with a grown teacher. Now, some more interesting statistics regarding the studies. 11% of recent high school graduates have been victims. More specifically, 89% of the accused educators were males. 63% of incidents involved teachers, and 19% involved coaches and gym teachers. Coaches and gym teachers, bro. It was always gym teachers and like history teachers who were weird.
Yes, bro, one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I seen this like old coach and he was coaching the girls JV volleyball team. Look, by all means, I'm not gonna assume the worst of you because some people just genuinely love the sport, but to coach a JV volleyball team, it's insane.
I don't know. Something about them gym teachers, they be teaching us stretches and then they'll go to like the girl side. It was weird, bro. It was weird. Another article I seen from Business Insider says that they conducted an analysis of 388 disciplinary records of educators accused of misconduct. Of the 388, only 166 contained evidence that administrators conducted a thorough investigation on. So
yeah, one thing I realized, I feel like for some reason, schools be having a hard time replacing teachers and shit. I feel like a teacher would damn near have to be criminally charged for them to get kicked out of the school.
Out of that 166 that they actually conducted an investigation on, only 4 of them were determined to be false accusations, which proves that false accusations don't happen nearly as much as, you know.
Yeah, because let's be real. If your child came up to you and said, yo, my teacher did this to me, are you believing them? Yes or no? You are. Unless you're like a terrible teacher that grades terribly, you're gonna believe kids. Kids do not lie about those type of things.
Actual real incidents, let's be honest. And out of those, 54 cases resulted in no disciplinary action. Not enough. We don't care. As the school board, we don't care. Principal, we don't care. 52 of them were reprimanded or briefly suspended. Brief suspension. My employee, my teacher,
52 teachers were briefly suspended. So the same teachers that got suspended for touching children, doing anything inappropriate to children, being a weirdo, they're all put back into the same setting. That's like releasing a predator from prison and putting him near a playground. You're literally playing with fire. Whose idea was this?
colleague talk to some underage individuals. Don't do it again, all right? We'll see you next week. Make sure you have the lesson plan ready by Monday. Wow. That's a very harsh punishment. Cruel and unusual punishment, man. How dare you give them this much punishment? They shouldn't even been suspended at all, man. Obviously not. 10 were reassigned to new positions. Wow, what a PR move. You got caught in the act? God damn it, man. I like you, man. I liked you. Okay. You can't be a teacher? You know what? You could be a TA. Be the teacher's assistant. Or, you know what? Vice principal. I like that.
No. Go to prison. Go to jail. Matter of fact, don't ever be near children ever again.
I don't like that. 120 were allowed to retire or resign. So they're just like, all right, bro, just go ahead and retire, bro.
Yo, I'm sorry, that's crazy. Oh, you right there. You was the one that was touching kids? Go ahead, enjoy yourself a nice retirement. We got your pensions, we got your savings. Go to the Bahamas. Just take time off, all right? We appreciate your work. Shout out to you. I don't know, the thought of being able to retire after doing some shit like that, why don't you just fire them at that point?
We're not gonna prosecute you. Chilling with your feet kicked up, drinking a pina colada on the beach. 60 of them were terminated, and the remaining outcomes were not disclosed. AKA, they are all in the White House. Nah, I'm kidding. I don't know where they are. They're done.
Yo, hold on. You finally got the funny attachment? I like that, bro. I was kind of starting to doubt your humor, but you got it, bro.
They're not disclosed. I don't know where they are. They're not disclosed. Brief intermission. If you're enjoying the video so far, please make sure you sub to the channel. We're on the road to 200,000 subscribers. Also, make sure you sub to the second channel right here. Hey, hello, we're at 29,000, almost at 30K. So it would be awesome if you sub to that channel as well. Should be linked in the description or pinned in the comment section down below. Some other crazy statistics in case you're already not on the same page as me. It was a 53% increase for SA cases and a 99% increase from R-word cases since 2016. It was found that only 6% of students actually officially reported the educator. So a lot of times students will go through stuff, and because they're young, because they don't know better, they don't really know what's right and what's wrong, or they just don't know how to go about it, or they don't have a trusted parent, guardian, or close friend group to really report this to. A lot of times it seems like these educators go scot-free. And this perfectly
with the amount of kids that I see coming out right now telling everyone, oh, their teacher is a weirdo, they did this. The rise of that just started happening recently. So imagine back then when there were like not as much media, not a lot of cameras, things like that. Bro, a lot of them probably went scot-free. That's crazy.
Explains what I was talking about, because a man who's now 18 says that a teacher was abusing him for years, gave him alcohol, money, other gifts. And in the caption here, it says the misconduct began in 2021 when the boy was 14. Nonetheless, she was able to walk around free for an extra 4 years without actually getting reported. Some more important information that I do not want to forget to mention is that a lot of times when people are younger, minors, whatever, will wait from 3 to 18 years to actually report on said case, which is on average about a decade or so. So a lot of times you see these percentages and they're really high, right? Like, oh, trust me when I tell you it's a lot higher than that, bro. Because add up all the ones that are undocumented, all the cases that are, untalked about, the ones that are swept under the rug, we keep it on hush mode. I wouldn't be surprised if you double it, give it to the next person, That 1 out of 10 might really be like 2 to 3 out of 10. Is that crazy?
There's probably a group of kids that make it their mission to want to sleep with teachers. Like they see nothing wrong in that. Like in their head, they think they're cool. Like, wow, yes, I got touched, but wow, this was an amazing time.
To say, oh, by the way, that only counts like talking, touching, but if you want to count like cheese pizza or, inappropriate imagery, that's probably a whole different other statistic that we didn't really combine into one. Also, the statistic that we read earlier was that this is mostly men, 89% to be exact, but I definitely did see a lot of like incidents in my schools with kind of suspect behavior coming from women teachers. If you're a girl, maybe you can relate, because I've seen it firsthand where it's like younger English teacher and she's like low-key flirting with the athletes while also like talking down to the girls in the classroom. I don't know. It's like a weird
I haven't seen that. Do that be happening in all schools?
Dynamic. And recently I've been seeing an uprising in a lot of like women PDFs. For example, high school teacher is facing charges of having a relationship with a 16.
Do not let Instagram comment section see this, because I know about 10 of them are talking about, oh my God, yo, what is wrong with this new generation? Oh my God, like if I was 16 and my teacher slept with me, I wouldn't have told nobody. She's so bad. Oh my God, like why would you even tell? And that is why nobody takes male sexual assault seriously. There is so much men out there that probably get harmed on upon older women when they're children, and it affects them silently. And the fact that I feel like as a society, we're like, you're so lucky a woman slept with you, bro.
year-old student. And of course, in the comment section, where the hell were these teachers back in the day? 3,000 likes, you know, just glorifying crazy behavior. But unfortunately, you're a dumbass who weren't raised properly by two loving parents,
Literally.
isn't very smart, is low IQ, and deserves to get smacked in the back of the head. This boy might have had the best day of his life, and this is a woman. Too pretty to be messing with kids, as if like you gotta be ugly to do it. Is it like,
Yo, Lo, why you say it like that?
okay, if you're ugly, it's fine, but if you're pretty, you know, you can't. There's a married teacher in Florida who was accused of being with a 14-year-old in a classroom during lunchtime for an entire year.
A year. You didn't feel a little ashamed of talking to a 14-year-old? A little bit. It's one thing for somebody to be a weirdo to kids, right? And it's another thing when I find out that they have a loving partner at home. Imagine being married to a wife of a couple of years, right? This is the love of your life. And then you find out the love of your life cheats on you with a minor.
Yuck, yikes. And then married teacher accused of having relations with a student over 50 times faces 60 years with new charges. A broke kid in high school has more leverage than her grown bill-paying husband. Wow. 60 years for what? Giving him the best years of his life. Let's be real, the student hit the jackpot.
Dude, what is wrong with y'all? This is why people don't take men's assault seriously, bro, because y'all be hyping them up. To add on to that, I will say, yes, don't get me wrong, whether you look good or ugly, people that are weirdos are gonna be weirdos. But I think it especially strikes me different when I see people that could easily find attractive adult males or women, but decide they'd rather go for children. That is mind-boggling to me. Like, I know being a predator doesn't have a certain look to it, but I'm just kind of like, this lady doesn't look like she'd struggle finding an attractive man.
And I feel like these people have never really had an encounter with PDF, because I know people, men who were involved with women who were older, and like they, one, regret it, and two, had trauma from it, bro. All these people were just glorifying it, being like, oh, big bro, he's so cool, he's so, you know, you're weird. And you also don't know what it's like, so why are you talking like that, bro? Do you understand how many undocumented cases go by every day? Day by day, these people scoot underneath the rug, and this person is being reported with 60 years. Why do you think that's happening? Because he probably reported her. He was not having the time of his life. He was actually indoctrinated by society and told that he was supposed to like this, and then he found out this is wrong, and then he probably freaking reported it. Be wary, you never really know who's going through what and what's taking place unless you really know. But if you see suspicious behavior, please tell somebody something about it, bro. I didn't really understand what was suspicious, what was not, and what was normal and what was...
I ain't gonna lie, knowing who I was, if my friend when I was a high schooler said, oh bro, I slept with the teacher, I probably wouldn't have known any better. Because I feel like now that I've grown, I start to realize it, but I probably would adapt to my homie like, wait, which one? Because I feel like that's just the culture kids grow up in when they're in high school, but it's definitely wrong. You should report it.
Was not. So I was like, okay, that's just how it is, I guess. This teacher is just freaking bending over in front of people because I guess this teacher just wearing this type of weird outfit just because, I guess. This teacher is being oddly nice to the athletes because I guess that's normal. And my freaking middle school teacher having a plaster of a bunch of girls on his wall who were all freaking 12 is all out of kindness, I guess. Now, as far as why this is happening, I don't really know too much. I have a couple inferences. To me, the immediate things that stand out about a teacher and a student, like the dynamic, is definitely like the power thing. You're looking up to, you know, the professor. As a professor, you know, you have all the control. So a lot of times the professor might feel that like dominance, as crazy as it is, and feel like,
I mean, I don't think I've ever looked at my teacher like, hold on, you're a little dominant. Like, oh, you could control the grades and shit. That's so hot. You feel me? I feel like this is more pressure to people that are celebrities, but if you're looking at your teacher that way, you're weird.
they need to assert that dominance. Besides, I don't know, freaking teaching the math problem properly, okay? Be dominant there, bro. Be dominant in making sure your students get the proper education, okay?
Literally.
Be dominant during the lesson planning, okay? Make a good lesson. As a matter of fact, the amount of freaking teachers I had that couldn't teach a proper lesson actually is infuriating. Don't let me get off topic. The education system is pretty underpaying, correct? I'm guessing they don't really do proper screening a lot of times. And let's face it, bro. You know what a PDF's dream is? An institution full of young individuals in one.
Literally, this gotta be the spawn trap of hell. If this is Jujutsu Kaisen, this is like their domain. This is like their Disneyland. A predator in a place with children. The more I see it, the more I start to understand why they dress coded girls for having like clothes that are like showing too much of their shoulder. It's to protect them from the weirdo teachers that are in there.
Place. You know what that is? School. Literally school. Of course they're gonna come and be like, yeah, I want to be a teacher. I want to be a teacher. I'm gonna teach the class. And secretly, you know, in their brain, they're like these. rubbing their hands and itching at the thought of, you know, being around people of that age. So naturally, of course, a place with a lot of, you know, young individuals, I'm thinking probably attracts, you know, people with that type of mindset. I also wonder if there has anything to do with like poverty. I feel like when it comes to crime in general, poverty plays a role, but when it comes to these type of crimes, I don't know if these are predominantly happening more in places that
I don't know. I don't think teachers are like, well, if you can't afford tutoring, because I know you're broke, let me give you private tutoring. Actually, no, that could happen. But I don't think most of the cases are because their students are broke.
are low income or jobs that are low income versus people that are high income. I don't know if there's any correlation with that. I did find a Reddit post that says, why has there been such an increase in teachers students? Has it always been like that? Is it more common than I realized, or is it just some kind of increase in PDFs? It's always been that way. It's always been that way to an extent. A lot of the history was erased, but go digging and you'll find historical events of worst magnitude throughout the 20th century. I think that's probably true to an extent. It's probably always been that way to an extent. It's kind of interesting to know that like a lot of times people who go through these cases, they'll report them a lot later. Maybe it's been like that, and then those cases are being reported now, and then the cases from right now are going to be reported later. You know, I think parents have been noticing it more, going through their kids' phones. Teachers are not even supposed to be texting students. Yeah, a teacher having the student's phone number already is a very high red flag. Like,
oh, 100%. I know some teachers like having like Instagram social media handles so they could sound, you know, cool to kids, or like maybe even post assignments or like events that's happening in the school. But to some degree, I'm like, I don't think that's the smartest thing to do. Now, granted, if the page is purely professional and the school knows about it, then go ahead. At the very least, you should not be following the kids back.
the only person I ever had in contact with was my coaches. Maybe it's in the news more. I graduated in 06 and 07. He apparently was giving his numbers to seniors until they graduated before hitting them up. I mean, he waited, but he still had to be attracted to them prior to turning 18. Yo,
I will say I did have a teacher after the kids graduated. He friended them on Facebook. But that's the only case that I didn't find weird, only because this was an amazing teacher. Perhaps the best teacher in the school. So that's why there was nothing weird about that. But if he wasn't a good teacher that actually cared about his lessons, then I would have probably thought that was weird. To some degree, yes, it is still weird. But to him, he just genuinely wanted to know what we would do in the future and, you know, if we were going to do good in life.
what the heck? He was putting in reservations. When that one comes off the grill, it's mine. 17 years old and 365 days. Oh, yo, that's actually crazy. And the fact that that's technically considered legal and he can't be prosecuted for that? No, you're disgusting. But overall, it seems like most people are saying that this is just a thing that's being reported more on now versus not really an increase, which is weird though, because the studies we did read, it did say that there was an increase. Man, this definitely feels like something that's happening more, and it feels like something that is happening in every single school. Like, bro, odds are you watch this video have had a teacher in your school doing the same crazy freaky activities, same way I have, same way another person watching the video probably has, and same way another person in this comment section is commenting right now. You know, I relate. The fact that this is happening so much is honestly crazy, and what can we really do about it? I don't know. If you see suspicious behavior, report it. Will be nice if freaking school boards, you know, did annual checkups or something. I don't know what they do already to prevent it. But that's gonna do it for today's video. Yeah, let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Do you think that
Great video, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, YouTube, let me know what y'all think about this. How would you handle this situation? Let me know if any stories you guys have of teachers acting weird, whether it happened to you or someone you know. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys subscribe to Law 2 W video. Join us on Twitch, all that good stuff. Baxter for life.